it was funny. The coach's site really was like I was a Roger Nielsen's coaching clinic, addicted person, and would go to any level. Like I would go to level 5 clinics in USA Hockey for years and years after, I got my level 5 in 1992 or something like that. So every year I would go because it was just I'm just always been a continuing education person. And what the coach's site has become for hockey is this conduit of having all this stuff in one place. And I think what Aaron and his team has done really well has actually brought more than just X's and O's into the fold. So whether they're talking about culture and mission and vision, obviously the skill development aspects are there. They have like a high performance coaching symposium that they do. But for me, like the Directors Club was really more branching out, like them, Aaron contacting me and giving me an opportunity to talk in a public way for his audience, basically what we do here on Thursdays, and what I was doing really anyway. I mean, I was on, phone with hockey organizations around the world every week because of my position. And I was like, well, I should be able to do this in a broader scope and run by a bigger entity. And Aaron and his team have really established quite a big reach, big enough now that the Hockey Canada uses them as a piece of their coaching education curriculum and getting credits for coaching. I know USA Hockey is going to be using them as part of their, hopefully as part of their coaching education curriculum and doing extra what they call continuing education credits. So for me, that's really where the coach's site is powerful for me as somebody who's digesting the information, and for somebody that wants to get the information out. And then Matt, obviously, I got to see what Matt's doing. He could describe what Hockey Factory's research is, but for him to be able to come and get us all in the room to all these great organizations, and he's continuing to build on this, I think is such a great, I can't call up Shattuck St. Mary's and go there for the weekend and hang out with the coaching staff and try to dig into what they're doing to make their organization great. And Matt's kind of, been able to move the curtain a little bit for all of us to get a little bit of an insight on what the commonalities are of these great organizations. So, but I'll let Matt speak about the Hockey Factory's part that he does. But, for me, again, the coach's site really is it's just really one of the best conduits of coaching curriculum and education that's out there right now for hockey coaches. And they also do, they have a lot of other subjects in there, and Aaron does a great job of interviewing and, soccer and basketball and football and just making sure that, coaching philosophies are incorporated into the coach's site, not just hockey philosophies.
Mike, what you've said about Hockey Canada and Hockey USA buying into the coach's site, and Peter's point of the mission statement and trying to help that organization get it going, I would ask you guys that are connected with them to make sure the mission statement becomes their mantra down the road, because until that happens, all the good stuff they're doing, it's a spinning wheel. So that's sort of where I'm coming from on that. Matt, Dominic Pittis is on board. He's in Stockton, California. He's coaching the American League, and now he's running a high school girls academy and a boys academy. So, Dom, can you introduce yourself to Matt?
Hi, Matt. Yeah, Dominic Pittis. I born in Canada and played over a couple decades in North America and Switzerland. Transitioned into coaching in Calgary and with the Calgary Flames organization for a couple of years as a skill coach up in Calgary, and then about 6 years with the American League team, kind of running the forwards and power play and free scouts and that kind of thing. And now taking on a role as hockey director in at St. Mary's High School in Stockton, California, and have a girls team and a boys team, and just trying to build the program and just get, try to integrate school and hockey on the West Coast here. There really isn't too much in that regard. So,
Pretty cool.
Matt, go ahead and let us know how you got involved with the coaches site and doing the good things you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So again, thank you for the introductions and the opportunity to join you guys and have this chat. My story, or I guess my introduction to hockey, is very different than everybody else here. I've never played a game of organized hockey in my life. I liked playing baseball when I was a kid, and probably got into hockey at about 9 or 10 years old. So the line had already been drawn in the sand of who knew how to skate and carry the puck and who didn't. So I never really got on that side of the line. It's funny. I've got a 5-year-old son that just started playing hockey this year, and to help out, I'll go out in the ice and push pucks and stuff with the coaches. And the vast majority of those kids in U7 are better skaters than I am. So I'm learning just as much as they are. But my path was more in the broadcasting side of things. I worked in radio for about 10 years. And had always had an interest in sports and sports broadcasting and doing play-by-play or any sort of really sports reporting or things like that. So I'd gotten involved in that quite a bit. And one of the ways that I connected with Aaron, I guess originally, was I had sent him an email. I was a big fan of the Glass and Out podcast that he does. So I had sent him an email inquiring if he'd ever been interested in being interviewed instead of being the interviewer, to talk about the coaches site and how it launched and what dreams or goals of the coaches site would be. So we got into that conversation. He threw that around with his team, and they liked the idea. So I got a chance to do that episode with him. And afterwards, he asked if I had done any writing or had any experience doing that, which I had wrote for a few magazines and obviously done some hockey commentaries and stuff too. So he had this idea of this hockey factories, or what became hockey factories, where we would basically be reaching out to a number of different programs around the world to find out, like Mike said, commonalities, different, the philosophies, ways that they operate, their mindset and coaching, and kind of see behind the door there, see behind that curtain. So he initially reached out to a few different programs that he had contacts with. So the first season, we had a chance to do Shattuck St. Mary's, the Okanagan Hockey Academy in BC, Jungalder Mannheim in Germany, Jokerit in Finland, and Frölunda in Sweden. And so I was really using the beauty of technology and getting to set up interviews with coaches, former players, current players, general managers, trainers, anybody we could get their hands on that would tell the story or be able to explain what separates these programs from the ones that they would either be competing against or from around the world, and put those words into print and create those articles. So I've been incredibly blessed and fortunate to have just kind of walked into this and get to have some conversations with some people I would have never connected with before, and have learned so much from doing all of those and having all those conversations. So it's been quite a blessing to get a chance to do them.
Thanks very much, Matt. Dean Holden is going to be joining us at about 9 o'clock. I believe he's dropping his daughter off at school. And he's probably the toughest guy I find to get a hold of, because he's just so busy and with his contacts around the world and his own life that's carrying on. But we know the Calgary people are very familiar with Dean and his background, and he's just about been everywhere. But he's one of the type of coaches that really thinks. He calls himself a parademic, and he is. And if you read his bio that I sent out, very articulate, well written. And one of the questions that I was going to ask him when he got on is, Dean, how do you're coaching a U15 team and you're working with coaches that most coaches have confidence and maybe too much confidence, and they're still got a lot to learn, and the kids, they want to have fun, and it's got to be understood and simple. So where's the line between theory and getting through to the kids, and the challenges he might face doing that? And that was one of the questions I was going to ask him, because I've known a few coaches that were really academic. George Kingston was one of them, but he kept it as simple as you could. He was very good at that. But gosh, did that wealth of knowledge that he had within him, it provided a foundation of information to add to his coaching toolbox, and it never caused him not to be able to communicate well. So once Dean gets on, I'll have him do a little bit of an intro, and right now I see Tim Bothwell's been able to join us. And are you familiar with Tim at all, Matt?
No, we've not met or anything. No, so I saw the name and know a little bit about your history, Tim, but we've not been able to connect.
Okay, Tim, your speaker.
Yeah, Barb was running up and down the stairs. She's got a client in a few minutes. So, yeah, nice to meet you, Matt. Be interested to hear of your experiences. And obviously, I know Dean really well. He worked with me 1 year at University of Calgary, and terrific person. So he'll be interesting as well. And where are you, Matt? Where are you located?
I'm in Windsor, Ontario.
Okay, Joel Quenneville territory.
That's right. Yeah, we've had a few good ones come through here.
I actually remember, obviously, quite clearly. I was at Roger Nielsen's coaching clinic, which, geez, I need to get back there. I haven't been there for about 4 years now, after going for many years. But sitting with Joel and God, I forget who else was with us. With Joel in a bar in downtown Windsor. Well, the O.J. Simpson thing was
really?
going on in 1993. So one of those seminal cultural markers that we're all familiar with.
No kidding. Paul Maurice had a long playing career with the Spitfires, or was involved in the Spitfires, and he's always kept a connection with Windsor as well.
Yeah, actually, when I was at Rogers, I think about 4 years ago with Terry Johnson and Peter Smith, Paul was there speaking. Quite an impressive guy, obviously. And I didn't know about his whole legal career and how he told a story how he got into coaching. It was very, very interesting, actually. Totally by accident.
Paul Maurice was a lawyer?
Yeah, he was in law school. He was a really good OHL player, but not quite, I forget, I think he went to a training camp, but not quite draftable, or draftable, but not quite moving on. And I think he left training camp, got into law school in Detroit. And then I forget all the details of the story, but whoever was coaching in Windsor asked if he would help. And he just kind of said, well, okay, and sort of fitted in between his classes the first year, and then eventually, well, the rest is history, I guess. But that's how he got into it. He was in law school in Detroit.
Matt, we had a guest. He's the head coach of the Queen's female team, Matt Holmberg, specifically talking about, he quit his law practice to take over the female hockey program. And he talked about the duality nature of law and being able to coach, and how the two intermingled in terms of benefiting the coaching aspect of things. And I don't know how many coaches are lawyers, but
I think Cooper in Tampa was too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cooper's the
Pat
famous
Quinn.
now. Yeah,
Pat Quinn.
yeah. And I wonder about Pat Quinn. That's amazing. I never realized he was a lawyer until much later. He didn't get his law degree until he was playing hockey, did he, Tim?
After, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Just a tremendous guy. Anyway, while we're waiting for Dean to come on, I've got a sort of a general question. It may not come up with Dean, but we're talking about the disjointedness, like Peter Whitney mentioned. If you deal with things at the beginning of the year, you won't have the problems throughout the year. Yet they keep occurring. And sports governing bodies, like Hockey Canada and USA, they have a code of conduct. And we've tried to create a mission statement to set the stage. And it's sort of a piecemeal approach where you've got to really make that a priority in coach education, not the X's and O's. It's a cultural thing. The emotional intelligence side about behavioral coaching related to respect, teamwork is, in my mind, what we have to change from the outcome approach to the process development of character approach. Tim, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just sort of giving you a thumbs up there, Wally. I totally agree. But I would add as well, I think you'll remember this, Wally, last time you and I, last time I was involved with Hockey Alberta's HP1 program. We were both, Wally and I were both mentoring a group. It would have been, I think 8 years ago now. And the amount of stuff and really to Wally's point, the amount of X and O stuff which we all love, that they try to cram into a weekend or a week of HP1 training, and they spend like about an hour on ethical decision making. And I really felt like they needed to spend a half a day on that topic to really impress upon the coaches how important it is to A, have a process to deal with really difficult ethical situations, and B, pay attention to them, and to C, be better equipped to actually deal with them, and then hopefully eliminating some of the issues we're seeing. Because as I've said many times, I don't think it's a hockey problem, it's a societal problem, and we're trying to deal with it in hockey. So anyway, I totally agree, Wally, like a little, which you learn over time.